Book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, starting at verse 14. And it reads, Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hand. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings, nor princes. In the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Skipping down to verse 22. I'm starting at verse 21, and it reads, Like as they do yet this day unto my chosen, so will I do also and recompense in their bosom. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai power. My right hand shall not spare the sinners, and my sword shall not cease over them that shed innocent blood upon the earth. That shed innocent blood upon earth. The fire is gone forth from his wrath, and hath consumed the foundations of the earth, and the sinners like the straw that is kindled. Woe to them that sin and keep not my commandments, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. I will not spare them. Go your way, ye children, from the power, defile not my sanctuary. For the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai knoweth all them that sin against him, and therefore delivereth he them unto death and destruction. For now are the plagues come upon the whole earth, and ye shall remain in them, for the Most High shall not deliver you, because ye have sinned against him. I want to start off by giving all praise, all honor, and all glory to God, William, by Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rachahakudash. Double honors to the elders and to the apostles that like this truth from. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and freedom to do so now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and Akwa, to listening, learning, Lord willingly. This is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but whom subscribe to this truth. To you, I say Shalom. I will stop coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit, through the power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Yahweh meaning he is, he exists, or he to be. Ba'ashem, Ba'as in, Haz, Leshem, his name. Yahweh Shah meaning he saves, or he deliverer. True names of the Most High God and his Son, who these people ignorantly call God and Jesus Christ, whose true name in the Paleo Hebrew is Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. This lesson is inspired by a video. The crazy part is I just did a lesson on a video this dude did, the Snyder Reports. And it's funny because I told you my memory is so bad. So I brought up the Levites and the Dominicans. You know, they share Hispaniola. Probably butchering it, but the point is, those are the same people. I may mention this in the last video. So I said the Dominicans was the tribe of Manasseh, which I told you my memory is horrible. I had to look it up because I didn't feel right in the spirit. And that's Manasseh's the Cubans, you know. So Simeon, you know, is the Dominicans. So I just wanted to correct that. But a lot going on through the spirit. I'm gonna say fair use, fair use. I just found this out because I be busy. The Lord keep me up to date. You know what I'm saying? With all this going on, you better stay something. You stay locked in, shit. At the end of the day, you know, I'm gonna comment on it after they speak on it. I had got an article, but he actually went into it, so I'm gonna say fair use on this video. I'm not profiting off of it. I'm just gonna line up what he says with scriptures, because at the same time you got the war that the Lord just stirring everything up this year. Call Elohim Shah, and this very well could be the year. You know, I pray this is the year. You know, the Lord can keep you locked in as long as the beloved elders and apostles. But I don't think we're gonna have to do that. You know, too much going on. So may this be the year, but if not, may the Lord keep the spirit on you to endure however long we got to wait. But too much prophecy happening. So fair use, copyright disclaimer. I'm not profiting off of this. Just about to line this up with this video. He said something. That's what made me do the correction because he brought up Cubans. And I was like, damn. So something said, go look up the chart. And I was like, damn, I named the wrong tribe. But he brought up Cubans. So it was funny. It was spiritual. So fair use, copyright disclaimer.
Due to protests that are happening in Iran, the United States military, ships in the region are all considered legitimate targets, according to the Iranian leader. This is deeply concerning, and this is what is causing many people to panic, especially the White House, who's trying to control the situation where hundreds or actually thousands of people are.
Now, the funniest part is they was just the aggressor. Just like I just saw an article where Trump said he's not even responding to the diplomats of Iran because pretty much they going into the fact of they taking out the citizens. And it's funny because I didn't know it was all about the currency. And crazy part is this. Our currency is being fucked with right now. If you don't think this is about to affect Babylon the Great, because when you go into, a brother did a lesson and he went into how pretty much these banks passed this law, they got to actually have like the real reserves. They can't just use like the banking system of basically numbers on a computer. You got to actually have the physical currency. So it's funny that happened in December, like the 28th. We only on what, the 13th?
Protesting, and hundreds have already lost their lives. Look at this.
In Iran, the death toll surging as the Islamic Republic tries to crush the spreading protests. But crowds in the hundreds of thousands are refusing to surrender the streets. Human rights activists say around 500 people have been killed since the protests erupted.
Imagine that. They said in the hundreds of thousands because the currency fell. So what you think Babylon the Great gonna do when these people are armed?
2 weeks ago. Iran does not release official numbers, but these videos, smuggled out of the country despite a government-imposed internet blackout and verified by NBC News, show dozens of bodies outside a morgue in Tehran. The faces of the dead flashed on a screen as anxious families search for their missing loved ones. Cries of grief and the seemingly endless rows of bodies hinting at the scale of the bloodshed. President Trump has threatened strikes if Iran uses violence against protesters.
You better not start shooting because we'll start shooting too.
Allah! Members of Iran's parliament responding with defiant chants.
Scriptures tell you that the king's heart is in the hands of the Lord. May the Lord put it on their spirit for everybody to start fucking shooting. Let Iran. And the thing is this: Russia was talking to Iran the whole time. So Russia backing them because Iran pretty much said y'all targets. Like you do something stupid, we gonna do something stupider. You get what I mean? Get me? Get what I mean?
Their speaker warning Iran would hit back, and all U.S. military bases in the region would be legitimate targets.
Okay. So President Trump made it very clear. If Iran starts to fire and uses violence to disrupt the protests, that the United States will step in. The United States will.
Another thing, when you in a leader in a position, you can't make empty boasts or threats. So somebody gonna have to actually fulfill what they saying they gonna do. And I believe Iran will. I believe let America do something stupid. You know what I mean? Because again, you got bases over there. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, you got to remember these people have allies. You like the elder keep on bringing up. Babylon the Great, aka America, has isolated themselves, so they don't have very many allies. You know, Russia gonna need allies because they pretty much talking about. Well, not Russia, shit. The scriptures talk about, like the elder keep on saying, Revelation 17-16, shit. They talking about if America invades Greenland, you got the UK gonna send troops. So, Baba Kashab, let this be it. Let it go down, Baba Kashab.
Fight and retaliate. Well, Reports indicate that Iran is using violence to try to subdue some of the protesters. There's thousands of people out on the streets.
Now we know they got to force that chip, but you got to understand everything is right here. You know, everything is right here. Martial law. You know, I happen to believe that we not getting no income tax because the simple fact is they know they about to go to war. You know what I'm saying? This motherfucker just schemed and plotted and scammed the shit out of the Americans to tax their wages so they can have more money. With the overtime shit. Oh, this motherfucker ain't shit.
And have been there for days. Okay? What they're doing is they're pretty much eliminating internet. But that's where Starlink is stepping in. And
Starlink, your boy Elon. He been in the news lately too.
Some are saying that this is we're going against the federal or going against their government, but this is where now the White House is a little bit concerned that we could potentially be going to war with Iran.
But didn't they want to go to war?
This is over the last several days, okay, where things have really ramped up. But Iran was warning the United States before. They
did do that. So again, you don't know if this theater, you don't know if this really, you know, you got to remember during CV lockdowns, they said we are all in this together.
Warning us before that we were.
And it could be on stage, it could be a world stage event, but at the same time, real people gonna lose their lives in this thing.
At a full-scale war with one another, and now this happens. I want to read something to you. Look at this right here. It says Trump weighs response to Iran crackdown. Tehran says communication is open with the United States. I want to read this. Trump said on Sunday the U.S. may meet Iranian officials and he was in contact with Iran's opposition. While
I read something today. He said he's no longer speaking to them.
Pressure on its leaders, including threatening possible military action over lethal violence against protesters. This is one of the reasons why we do have military in the region, is to stabilize the region. If the United States were to pull out of the region, again, the region would become very unstable. Okay, we know that. We've seen it before. I'm going to keep reading this to you. It says right here, U.S.-based rights.
Want to hear something funny about these Babylonians? They don't even think that America's unstable. America's unstable right now when you got ICE agents, stalking and attack and just killed the woman. Oh my God.
Rana said it had verified the deaths of 544 people, 496 protesters, and 48 security personnel, with 10,681 people arrested since the protest began in December, on December 28, and spread around the country. It says Iran's leaders are facing fierce demonstrations that evolved from complaints about dire economic hardships to defiant calls for the fall of the deeply entrenched clerical establishment. Okay, so if you don't know why this is happening, I'll give you a quick little rundown. First off, because of the economic hardship. Just over in the last few weeks of December, we saw soaring inflation. Okay, inflation was sky high. Medicine was more expensive. Food was more expensive. And then on top of that, the Iranian currency, whatever it is, it collapsed. So again, these two things happening together create a problem.
So the money failed. And what's that's going to bring? A civil war. And that's pretty much what's going on. And I didn't know any of this until brother did a video. Because I'm that motherfucking busy. Which it ain't really no excuse. It ain't no excuse why I didn't, again, you got to drill it in. But my memory is really bad. Like, I used to have a good memory, Like when I learned something, it was with you for life. But now, I guess, Lord, test or tempt or whatever. It's not an excuse though. Like I said, again, we can find time to do all kind of bullshit. So I'm cussing myself up, At one point, I knew all the names in Hebrew, all the 12 tribes. But, you know, again, now I got to keep on repetition. Like and the elders stressed that with us. They said repetition is the father's skill. I thought of the elder when I said that, because the elder always say it. So point being, you know, again, you had the two things happen, and one of them is the fall of the money. And that's going to happen here. With this whole situation with them requiring you have that silver and these banks can't get enough of it. I just heard something recently until the brother brought out the video. He was like, yeah, they just passed this law yesterday. So literally they was like how pretty much it's not enough silver in circulation. You know? So, yeah. Prepare for the time of Jacob's trouble. Because this currency gonna collapse, which is all scriptural. This is the book of Genesis chapter 47. I'm gonna start at verse 13, and it says, "And there was no bread in all the land, for the famine was very sore, so that the land of Egypt and all the land of Canaan fainted by reason of the famine." And the famine doesn't necessarily mean there's no food. Famine can mean you can't afford to get the food, or you can't get access to the food. You know, it's places in our city, you know, that, you know, you call them food deserts, because the food or the quality of food is not really up to par, especially if you got children. You know, you hoping that the school feeding them better, you know what I mean? Because, again, you got certain cities I can name that don't have actual grocery stores. Well, they do, but if you ain't got access to a car, or, you know what I mean? But there's certain areas that is very difficult. You know, that's why you got Dollar Generals and these dollar stores that's selling actual, like, and Jake trying to survive off that shit, which is, you know, it's just everything. You know, it's crazy too, because now you got I seen a lot of viral videos where they're showing a lot of these fast food places that look like it's like human meat. And, you know, it's crazy because I saw a video before I saw that one, prior to seeing that one, and it was a guy, he was like, you got to think about it. He said, when you rent a cemetery, he said, okay, all these people dying, but you don't see them making new cemeteries. So where's all these people going? You know, people that, when you bury them in the earth, they keep that grave plot. So where's all these other bodies going? And this is how sick this fucking devil is. Verse 14, "And Joseph gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan for the corn which they bought. And Joseph brought the money into Pharaoh's house." Because Joseph was like a viceroy, so he was like second in command of Egypt. "And when money failed in the land of Egypt and the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, Give us bread, for why should we die in the presence? So like in thy presence, for the money failed." And pretty much Esau Edom understand, like Esau Edom been given the knowledge to go search out all these things, so he understands history, and that's why history repeats itself a lot. That's why he does the same tactics a lot over and over again. You know, when you go into a lot of military leaders like Hannibal Barca and like Alexander the Greek, you know, a lot of the tactics that they use are still applied today, because if it's not broke, why fix it? That's how Esau Edom looks at shit. And again, you know, the spirit jumped on me when I end up being separated from, when I left, when I end up leaving, pretty much I went into the tariffs, and you know, it was just like spirit led me to a lot, because it make a lot of sense. A lot of the stuff that the tariffs brought, because it was like multiple things that happened to the economy to make the Great Recession, but at the same time, we like there because they're kind of like keeping this thing going. But now that this whole monetary, watch how many banks about to close because they're not about to be able to get the silver. If a bank say I got $2 million in deposits, they got to have, you know, a certain amount of silver in there to justify it. Like, you know, you got banks that you can pretty much put money in, like a CD. You can put it, it's like silver, but you going through the bank, so you physically don't have the silver, but you know what I mean, you paying through the bank, because a lot of people trusting in this devil. Well, like the brother broke down with shit. Now that this law passed, they're gonna require you to either get the silver physically, or they're gonna give you back the money. You know, like how a CD work. A CD, it bears more interest than an actual savings account, because of the fact they using your more money more often. Just imagine if they had to refund all the CDs. Like, this shit gonna be crazy, but it's gonna be beautiful too. The book of Revelation chapter 6, and starting at verse 6, and it reads, "And I heard a voice in the midst of the fourth beast say, A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and wine." So when you go into that word, penny is denarius, which was the pay of a Roman soldiers. We in the Rome 2.0, the deadly beast whose wound was healed, and pretty much the inflation is gonna get so bad, which we all live in inflation. That's why everything is so expensive. It costs a day's wage to buy food, a loaf of bread, and that's going into your gold and silver being cankered. And that's why ultimately in Ezekiel chapter 7, it says they're going to cast the gold and silver in the streets because it's going to be worthless, or you're not going to be able to get what you really need with that. Faith is going to be more important than silver and gold. The Lord can give you certain skills. I was listening to the elder say that. Think about, as much as Ephraim want to be over here just to be able to, but like the elder said, pretty much everything you need to survive grows freely. You could be homeless and live comfortably in there if you got skill sets. If you could fish, you could know how to garden a little bit. These things bring upon life. James chapter 5 and verse 1. "Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl, for your miseries shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasures together for the last days." And it's going to basically profit you not. Scriptures talk about riches profit not in the day of the Lord, but righteousness is delivered from death. So yeah, we about to see some miserable shit. And if the Lord ain't with you, I heard the elder brother break that down, and I realized that one day, you know what I mean? I'm not saying the Lord with me. What I'm saying is I would rather go ahead and pray that the Lord keep me and protect me as opposed to fake any fucking thing. You know what I mean? Again, I'm amazed that, like I said, Jake sitting up there talking about you spiritual man, but then you sit up here like, and then what kills me is I'm the one got to deal with it. What Jake say, he say, I'm not trying to even be offensive, but I'm just thinking about what Jake was like, yeah, because I want to. I was like, so that's, I'm gonna try to take the humble road though. Again, I just made a statement in the other video. Sometimes keep your mouth shut, shit. Because again, a chick was telling me, she was like, the Lord, she had to get a partial. So the Lord took like half her fucking mouth. This is the book of 2 Ezra chapter 14 and verse 14. We, like the elder said, we ain't the time of being proud because the Lord is fucking shit up. 2 Ezra chapter 14 and verse 14. "Let go from the mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature." If you trust and believe in the Lord, it ain't about what you see before your eyes. Because the Lord can do many a things. The Lord put me homeless and then made me unhomeless. Like the Lord had me homeless and then had my children take care of, and then now I'm not homeless, but I'm in a position to be able to take care of them. I had a job, they was playing with the hours. I quit that job and went to another job. And this job, we working more hours. And it's funny because, again, I thought about it. I was like, damn, I'm isolated and I'm getting dusty at this job. But the funny part is, the Lord can do anything, man. Like, again, like the Lord got you, and I know the Lord want me to be here because this is the second time I was sent to this job. The first time I didn't even go. And then they literally hit me back like a couple months later and was like, yeah. As if like I never spoke to them. And I know they got to have better records than that. Verse 15, "And set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to fly from these times." Don't be stressed out about what you're going to eat. I could think about times, again, the brothers had them analogies and scenarios of, your enemies will be at peace with you if you please in the Lord. Your enemy will feed you. When I was homeless, as much, the testimony the Lord took me through, I had to go to them churches and eat. I made sure to pray over that food. Verse 16, for yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. Verse 17, for look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein. You know, so we almost at the end. You know, scriptures talk about the woman in her birth pains. This is what Matthew chapter 24. I'm going to go straight to the point. And it says, and Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed. Let me read up. Matthew chapter 24 and verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? Verse 4. And Yahushua answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Mashiach, and shall deceive many. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, which you were seeing. Iran just threatened Babylon the Great. Now, it kind of looks staged, because again, you got Babylon talking about, oh, now they in high alert. They're not in high alert. This is what they wanted to do. You know, and it's funny, like I said again, they currency just collapsed out the blue. But you got to understand, it's these devils that control these currencies. You know what I mean? Yeah, they couldn't really fuck with Venezuelans like that. So what they did, they just came in force. And like I said again, I could see something really jumping off. They're not about to let this devil just take Iran too. These is all nations that's sovereign. That's all literally like, we got an alliance. You really, maybe this might be it. Baba Gashah. And you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. And that's why we so comforted, because we know these things are written therein. Yeah, it may sting for a little while, you know, a moment. But just imagine, I was thinking about the elder. The elder said, no matter how vivid a brother's memory or imagination is, he can't imagine what the Lord got preserved or set up for the elect. Then when you look at what they try to do, I was telling somebody at my job, because you know, even 2/3 up there like, shit, our jobs is secure. But I watched the video, dude was like, shit, the electrician was crying because he couldn't get a job. So don't think just because you got a hands-on trade, you know, the Lord do whatever the fuck he want. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. You know, and there's more in here, but you know, I wanted that because we in Jacob's trouble. And you really about to see it intensify when this money fail. Because that shit coming. All these banks is not about to be able to get silver. Because I forgot where I heard it at. But they pretty much is a shortage of the silver now. And you got technology companies that want the silver. And you got banks that need to get the silver now because of this new law. So call Lawyer Mlayah Bashmi Shah for this truth. If you're so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American, Seminole Indian, West Indian, or Haitian, I implore you to come back to the law, statutes, commandments of your power, whose true name in the Paleo Hebrew is Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, or you will be destroyed. With that, I want to give all praise, all honor, all glory to call Lawyer Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, Ba'Shem Hakodash, double honor to the elders, to the apostles that learned this truth from, peace and salutations, to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so, now more so than ever. Shalom to the Akim and Akwata for listening and learning, Lord willingly. This is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, to subscribe to this truth. To you, I say shalom. Till next time, Lord willingly. Shalom, shalom. Kwame Yasharallah and Wafla Baboa.